Hi, welcome to Retro Scale Modelling. This is part 5 of the Hawker Typhoon kit by Airfix, scale 1 to 24. In part 4 I dealt with the building the airframe for the wing and tail, as well as putting on the covers for the gun barrels and ammunition and fuel and so forth. So part 5 is going to be much the same. So let's go on with it. So we're going to start with building the airframe for the rear wing. Now Airfix just gives you the solid wing, because again they didn't expect anyone to build the kit the way that I'm building it. Now some other people have done it. Now so I've got the plastic card pre-painted, and I'm starting to drill holes into the airframe. This is a technique that builders use to lighten the airframe of an aircraft. So I'm just simulating that by drilling little holes into it. Now the airframe itself will also look slightly smaller than the main wing that's on the other side of it. Of course, because that would have getting covered in the outer material to form the wing. So when it goes on, you will see it slightly smaller, like the main wing. I'll put the brackets in for the flap, but the flap isn't going to go on. The process for making the wing up is the same as I use for extending the tip, the other wing. When I'm doing the two main struts there, one's going to be longer than the other because it's the entire wing I'm doing, not just the tip. So just if you are deciding to do it this way, just make sure that it's sized up properly. If you're not sure, just lay it against one of the wings, either you've made up or the parts that you're not going to be using, just so that you can get the proper scale. So once you're happy with the scaling, it's better to build this one because it's an entire wing, or before you put it on. Don't build it onto the frame. Make sure the whole unit's built in first. Also, it's helpful to do the weathering. I can't stress this enough. Throughout the build, you see me doing the weathering before assembling. That it just makes more sense. So there you can see the two different lengths or the strut supports going in, and you'll see once it's married up how it just sweeps out from the main body back into the wing tip. Now that it's made up, it's time to put it in. You may have noticed that the length of one end is slightly longer. That's the part that's going to fit into the root or inside the model where the other wing will be. There's a slot inside there that you can just slot it in. I cut it down at an angle so I can wedge inside. So a little bit of glue on there, and it just slots in. The airframe that I built is designed around those slots as well, so it can rest on the crossbeam, so it gives it better support. Once it's all dry and in position, as you can see here, now's the time to do any touch-ups with paint or weathering that you want to increase, and that's what I'm doing here. You can see how delicately I'm having to hold it. This is why it's important to do all the main work before you put it on. Also, I didn't have the luxury of that with the main wing, hence I'm putting on a little bit more than normal. However, when it comes to the rear wing, it's just a light touch required. Attention turning to the landing gear bay now. So I'm just putting in the small little bits and pieces that go in, cabling, cylinders and so forth. Now this colouring is blue for the cylinder. It asks for black, but I thought blue looked good. Simple as that, no other reason, I just thought it would look good. Now that's the closed section done. It's time to do the open section. Doing it much the same way, but this time you'll get to see it a bit better. It is more difficult to do it on this section because obviously there's no floor for the pipework and cylinders and things to lay down on. So map it out before you do it. This is what I'm doing here. Just dry fitting it, then placing a little bit of glue underneath to hold it in place. And there's the other cylinder going in. Now, as you can see, I'm just fitting it up, putting a bit of glue in, and using the tweezers to stick it in. And once all the wires are that in, it's time to put the hydraulic system in for the landing gear. These are quite small parts. The areas where you put them in weren't exactly clear on the instructions, so it took a little while to figure out where everything went. Same again for the opposite side. You can see how much difficulty I was having getting these to fit because, as I said before, there's no floor for them to sit on. So you've got to put it on the airframe in such a way it's going to hold. Now the instructions call for that I figured out in the end, but it can be tricky. Making up the landing gear main struts. Again, it's just two halves simply glued together and set. Once the struts are set, move on to the parts that are going to hold the wheel and fit into the landing bay. So all the little cross triangular parts that it needs to go on. And once each part is made up, I'm just repainting and touching up as I go along. Attention done to the wheels now. For the centre portion of the wheels, I'm painting the centre in grey, Revel colour number 47, and they were fairly simple to paint up. They're quite big wheels, and there's a nice ridge line in there, so it doesn't take much to paint them into the line. No need to put masking tape or fluid on it to get a perfect circle. Once the centre's dried, moving on to the tyre, I'm using light colour tyre black 1704. It's a really nice colour for a black rubber tyre. It goes on quite easily. It's very thin, but it does the job well. While the wheels are drying, it's time to go into landing gear. This is the part that I broke off, where you can see me with the glue. Now, I thought I would get away with it because there was just enough in there to hold the strut into position. I didn't get away with it. Later on, when I was moving the build around, the wheel did come off. But for now, I didn't know that. I should have put a pin in it to strengthen it up. All my experience tells me to do that, but I decided not to do it for some reason. But I put it on, clamped it up, and I done the same with the other side. The other side was easier to go on because of course it had the actual size strut there. Now that the struts are partially set, because I need a little bit of movement, I'm putting on the hydraulic rams for the landing gear and supports. Again, the instructions weren't really clear where these went. I did figure it out in the end, but it's not that obvious when you're just glimpsing at the instruction sheets. So make sure you have a good look before you put it on. Same again for the open side of the wing. This part was a little bit easier because there was no housing around the landing gear bay, and obviously I'd done the other one, so I knew where I was putting them by this point. As you can see, I'm just moving it into position. I completely forgot to paint the Envision stripes on the underside of the wing, so I'm doing that now. I done it exactly the same way I've done all the other ones. This one just took a little bit more work because of the landing gear bay area, but the same principles apply with the tape, blocking it with the undercolour before I'm putting on the black and so forth. Now that the white's dried, I'm painting it on the black. Now it was easier to do this freehand, same reason why I done the covers for the weapon system freehand. I also painted the Envision stripes on the landing gear panels. If the landing gear was up, I just put those parts onto the wing, made a mark with a pencil where the black and white stripes are going to be, and painted them. So I'm making up the wheels. Again, just a little bit of glue. There is a little location point so that they just lock into place when you put the two halves together. Don't worry if you spill a bit of glue onto the outer wheel, because you'll be touching up anyway, because if you're like me and you're painted them on the sprue, you will have to touch up little points. I'm happy with the wheels, so I'm putting on the covers for the landing gear. Simple case of a little bit of glue and a little bit of glue on the strut and just placing them on. There's a groove in it which fits right in. Just hold it with the clamp and you're okay. And goes without saying that the airframe wing won't have the landing flap gear on, so I'm just putting on the wheel. Again, simple case, finding the location point and putting it on. Now the wheels are on, it's time to turn our attention to the other side of the landing bay cover. So it's again painting the Envision stripes. It's important to marry these up before you paint them on, so that you know exactly where the stripe is going to go for the white and black. So while the covers are drying, I've decided to start the rear wheel. So the same principle as the main wheels, the grey and black painting arrangement. So that's the covers dry, so it's just a matter of putting them on. Obviously it's just one that's going on, the other one's completely left blank. Back to the rear landing gear. I made it up, same as the wheel, that is, same as the front wheels. The wheel fits into a little U-shaped part, and it has a lot of pins that fit right in directly into the wheel, so you don't have to put any cement in if you don't want to, so it can be free moving. And once it's in position, again just touch up or whatever colour that you're doing your kit in, and of course once you're happy with it, just lay it aside and let it dry. You can see it's coming along quite nicely. There you are. And once the rear wheel's dried, you can place it into the section it goes in. It's just a little cylinder that I placed in earlier on. You don't actually need any glue for this because it's such a tight fit, but make sure you get it in position. Now I think that's a good point to leave part 5. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this build, make sure you check out parts 1, 2, 3 and 4 and the other parts to come. They'll be up shortly. If you've got any comments or whatever, please feel free to leave them. I don't mind, good or bad, it's all welcome. So for now, I'll see you in the next part, part 6. Bye bye.